Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You have heard a long and complex case, everyone, and it is now your duty to sit down and try to separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. If there is a reasonable doubt in your minds as to the guilt of the accused, then you must declare him not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then he must be found guilty. Whichever you decide, the verdict must be unanimous. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen. The jury will now retire.
Thank you, but no.
You know something.
I know lots of things. I'm an advertisement.
You know it's hot.
I never would have known that if she'd have told me, would you? I guess not. I've kind of forgotten. All I've done all day is sweat.
I bet you aren't sweating like that kid who was trying.
I mean, you'd think they'd at least air condition the place. They almost dropped dead in court.
My taxes are high enough.
This should be fast anyway.
Yes, it is very hot.
Well, it seems that you all are here. If you guys need anything, I'll be right outside just now.
Did she just lock that door?
Yes, she did.
What do they think we are?
Crooks?
They locked us up for a little while.
And then they locked that kid up forever, and that's fine by me.
I never did that.
Sure, they locked the door. What did you think?
I just didn't know. It never occurred to me. Shall we all admit that it's not going to be the It's been a pretty hard week.
I feel just fine.
I wonder what's been going down at the office. You know it isn't advertising. In 6 days, my job could be gone, and the whole company too. They aren't going to let this.
Well, figuring this out is our duty.
I reject doing my duty. I just thought to mention I might not have a job by the time I get back.
No, they're rich. Look at that suit.
Let's go together.
Yes, it is.
You know, I don't know Uncle Taylor. Oh, how does he do? No, well. Anyway, this friend of his, that is, the friend of the uncle, of my uncle, he's too good. He's a good tailor. He wanted to take my place in the jury.
Why didn't you let him? I would have done anything to miss this.
And get caught or something? What kind of fine would you pay if you done something like that? Anyway, you know, this friend of my uncle's was on a jury once. Case like this one about 2 years ago.
So happy.
They let him off. Reasonable doubt. And you know, about 8 years later, they found out the guy did it anyway. A murder. A guilty man. Loose on the streets. They couldn't. Why not? A man can't be held in double jeopardy. Unless it's a hung jury, they can't try him twice at the same time.
That isn't gonna happen here.
6 days. They should have finished it too. Talk. Did you ever do so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled.
Hey, how'd you like the business about that knife? You ever hear a phonier story?
Well, look, you gotta expect that. You know what you're dealing with.
He bought a switch knife that night.
And then he lost it.
A hole in his pocket.
A hole in his father.
That's an awful way to kill your father. A knife to his chest.
Well, look at the kind of people they are. You know them.
What's the matter? You got a cold?
You know, these hot weather colds will kill you.
Yeah, I had one last year too on vacation.
All right, everyone. Let's take seats.
Right. This better be fast. I got tickets to Hamilton tonight. I must be the only one in the world who hadn't seen it yet. All right, Sharon, start the show.
How about a seat? The lady at the window? May I for a seat? Oh, sorry.
Well, it's tough to figure, isn't it? Kid kills his father, bang, just like that. Well, it's the element. They let the kids run wild. Maybe it serves them right.
There are better proofs than some emotion. Perhaps a dislike for some group.
Well, we all agreed that it was hot.
And that our tempers will get short.
That's if we disagree. But this is open and shut. Let's just get it done.
All right, everyone. We can handle this any way we want. I mean, I'm not going to apply any rules. We can discuss it now and then vote, or we vote now and then see where we stand.
Let's vote now. Who knows? Maybe we can all go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Right. Let's vote.
Yes, vote. Anybody who doesn't want to vote?
That was easy.
Okay. All those voting guilty, raise your hand. 11. Okay. All right, not guilty?
Hey, you're in left field.
Okay. 11 to 1. 11 guilty, 1 not guilty. Now we need to know where we stand.
Do you really believe he's not guilty?
I don't know.
After 6 days, she don't know.
In 6 days, I can learn calculus. This is ABC.
I don't believe it's as simple as ABC.
I never saw a guiltier man in my life.
What does a guilty man look like? He's not guilty until we say he's guilty.
You
Or
sat
we-
right into it and heard the same things I did. You saw the way it looked. You could see it.
Where do you look to see if a man's a killer?
Oh, well,
I want to know. Tell me the characteristics of a killer. Maybe you know something I don't.
Look, what about the cases you think the boy is innocent?
He was 19 years old.
that's old enough. He knifed his own father, 4 inches in the chest. An innocent little 19-year-old kid.
I agree with you that the boy is guilty, but let's try to avoid emotionally colored arguments.
All right, they proved it a dozen different ways. Do you want me to list them?
No.
Well, you believe that stupid story he told? Do you believe the kid's story?
I don't know whether I believe it or I don't. Maybe I don't.
So then what did you vote not guilty for?
There were 11 votes for guilty. It's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send the boy off to die without at least talking about it first.
And who says it's easy for me?
Or me?
No one.
He's just as guilty whether it's an easy vote or a hard vote.
Now, is there something wrong because I voted fast?
Not necessarily.
I think the kid's guilty. You couldn't change your mind. We talked about it for 100 years.
I don't want to change your mind.
Just what are you thinking of?
I want to talk for a while. This boy's had a rough all his life, living in the slums, mother dead since he was 9. That's not a very good head start. This is a tough, angry kid. And you know what small kids get that way? Because we knock them down once a day every day. I think we owe them a few words, that's all.
All right, it was hard. Sure, it's hard for me. Everything I got was taught to me. I worked my way through college. That was a long time ago. Perhaps you forget. I thought, yes. And I never killed.
I know what it's like. I never killed nobody.
I've been kicked around too. Wait till you work an admin scene and maybe what you might advertise it on. You don't know.
In my country, thinking was a science. But let's try to find something better than that.
Look, lady, I don't mind telling you this. We don't know the kid a thing. He got a fair trial. You know what that trial cost? He's lucky he got it. We're all grown-ups here. You're not going to tell us we're supposed to believe his story knowing what he is. I've lived among them all my life, and you can't believe a word they say. You know that.
I don't know that. What a terrible thing for someone to believe. Since when is dishonesty a group characteristic? You have no monopoly on the truth.
All right, it's not Sunday. You don't need a sermon.
What they've said is very dangerous.
I don't see any need for arguing like this. I think we ought to be able to behave like adults.
Right.
If you insist.
Thank you.
Sure.
Now, if we're going to discuss this case, why, let's get to the facts.
I think that's a good point. Good job. Let's do it.
If you gentlemen don't mind, I'm going to close the window.
If you don't mind, I'd like to have the window open.
It was blowing on me.
Don't you want a little air? It's summer, it's hot.
I was very uncomfortable.
There are 12 of us in this room. It's the only window open, if you don't mind.
I have some rights too, you know.
So do the rest of us.
Couldn't you trade chairs with someone at the other end of the table?
All right, I'll leave the window open only if someone would trade.
Here, have my seat.
Thank you.
Shall we get back to the case?
Yeah, let's.
I have an idea here. It seems to me that it's up to us to convince this lady that we're right and she's wrong. Maybe we each talk for a minute or two, you know, try it on for size.
That sounds fair. Very fair. Suppose we go to the table once.
So, all right, let's do it.
All right. We'll start with you.
Well, I just think he's emoji. I thought it was obvious.
In what way was it obvious?
Well, and that nobody really proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't have to open his mouth. That's in the Constitution. Surely you've heard of it.
Everyone has.
I mean, of course I've heard of it. It's just that hidden. I just think he's guilty.
No reasons, just guilty. There is a life at stake.
Okay, let's look at the facts. For one, the old man who lived on the second floor, right under the room where the murder took place. On the night of the murder, he said, in this trouble at night, he heard loud noises upstairs. He said he heard a fight, the kid saying, I'm gonna kill you. A second later, he heard a body falling. He went to the door and looked out to see the kid running downstairs and out of the front. He called the police and they found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner did fix time of death around midnight.
Right. Now what else do we know?
It just doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's entire story is flimsy. He claimed he was at the movies. That's a little ridiculous, isn't it? He didn't even remember the name of the picture he saw.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
He didn't have any tickets, though.
Who keeps a ticket stub at the movies?
That's true enough. I suppose, but the cashier recognized him.
And the ticket taker couldn't either.
Look, what about the woman across the street? Her testimony don't prove that nothing does.
That's right, she saw the killing, didn't she?
Let's go in order.
Wait a minute. Here's a woman who's lying in bed and can't sleep. It's hot, you know? She wakes up and looks out the window to see the boy stick the knife into his father.
How could she be sure it was the boy when she saw through the two cars of an elevated train?
She's known the kid all his life. His bedroom is right across hers, across the L tracks, and she swore she saw him do it.
I heard her swear to it.
Okay? And then proved it in court that you can look through the window of a passing L train at night and see what happens on the other side. They proved it.
Wait a minute. Weren't you just telling us that you can't trust them? That you can't believe them?
So,
Then I'd like to ask you something. How come you believed her? She's one of them too, isn't she?
you're a pretty smart fellow.
Now take it easy.
Come on, sit down. What are you letting her get you upset for? Relax.
Sure, they did take us down to the women's room and we looked through the windows of a passing elevated train, didn't we?
We did.
And weren't you able to see what happened on the other side?
I didn't see as well as I thought that I'd see, but yes, I did see on the other side.
See? Do you see?
Now let's calm down. It's your turn.
I'll pass then.
That's our privilege.
How about you?
I don't know. I mean, I started to be convinced with the testimony from those people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the father and son around, what was that? 7 o'clock that night? I mean, I could be wrong.
It was at 8, not 7. That's right, 8 o'clock.
They heard the father hit the boy twice and then saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
Right.
So what does that prove?
Well, it doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
Anything else?
No.
I don't know. Most of it's been said already. We could talk about it all day, but I think we're wasting our time.
I don't.
Neither do I. Go on.
I mean, look at the kid's record. He stole a car. He was arrested for mugging. I think they said he stabbed somebody in the arm.
They did.
He was picked up for knife fighting. At 15, he was in reform school.
And they sent him to reform school for stabbing someone.
Now, this is a very fine boy.
Ever since he was young, his father used to beat him up. He uses his fists.
So would I on a kid like that.
You're right. It's the kids. The way they are, you know? They don't listen. I've got a kid. When he was 8 years old, he ran away from a fight. I saw him. I was so ashamed. I told him right out, I'm gonna make a man out of you or bust you into little pieces trying. When he was 15, he hit me in the face. He's big, you know? I haven't seen him in years. Rotten kid. I hate tough kids. You work your heart out and... Alright, let's get on with it.
We're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he's a product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken heart. We can't help that.
I'm not here to go into the reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. You know it. So do I. Children who come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want any part of it. Believe me.
Listen, I've been in a slum all my life.
Now wait a minute.
I used to in a backyard and filled with garbage, making the smell on me.
Now let's be reasonable. There's nothing.
There is something personal.
They didn't mean you. Let's not be so sensitive.
Then who did they mean? I can't understand the sensitivity.
Now let's not all this bickering.
We're wasting time.
Oh, and it's your turn.
All right. I had a peculiar feeling about this case. Somehow I felt the defense counsel didn't conduct a thorough cross-examination. Too many questions were never answered.
Well, it doesn't change my opinion on the guilt of the kid. I agree. The defense counsel is not good.
So,
This is a point.
what about
Facts.
Too many questions were never answered.
what about the questions?
For instance, let's talk about that cute little switch knife. You know the one that flies up right in and hit it body?
All right, let's talk about it. I want to see it again. This woman?
I hear you.
I think it's Madam Foreman.
We all know what it looks like. I don't see why we should look at it. What do you think?
Well, she has a right to see evidence.
Fine by me.
This knife, it's a pretty strong piece of evidence. Do you agree?
I do.
Then let's get the sequence of events right as they relate back to the switch knife.
The boy admits going out of his house at around 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or punch.
Or punched. He went to a neighborhood store and bought a switch knife. The storekeeper was arrested the following day for selling it to the boy.
I think everyone can agree that it's an unusual knife. It's pretty hard to forget something like that.
The storekeeper identified him and it was the only one of his kind getting stopped. Why did the boy get it?
As a present for his friend, he says.
Am I right so far?
Right.
You bet. Now listen to this guy. They know what they're talking about.
Next, the boy claims that on the way home, the knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket and that he never saw it again. Now there's a story. Want to know what actually happened? Boy took the knife home. He realized that he stabbed his father with it and even remembered to wipe off the fingerprints. Now everyone connected to the case identified this knife. Now are you trying to tell me that someone picked this up off the street, went to the boy's house and stabbed his father with it just to be amusing?
No. I'm saying it's possible that the boy lost the knife and someone else stabbed the father with a similar knife. It's possible.
Take a look at that knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life. Neither has the shopkeeper who sold it to him. Now you're trying to make us believe a pretty incredible coincidence.
I'm not trying to make anyone believe anything. I'm just saying it's possible.
I'm saying it's not possible.
What?
Oh my God. What is that? What? Let's be quiet. Where did you get it?
I got it from a junkyard across the street from the boy's house. It cost $2.
Now listen to me.
I'm listening.
This is a real smart trick here, but you proved absolutely zero. Maybe there are 10 knives like it. So what?
Maybe there are.
The boy's a liar and you know it.
Maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did go to the movies and maybe he did lose the knife. Maybe the reason why the cashier didn't recognize him was because he snuck in and was too embarrassed to say so. I mean, is there anyone here who didn't sneak into the movies once or twice as a kid? I did.
Really? Not even once?
We didn't have movies.
Oh.
Maybe he did go to the movies. Maybe he didn't. And he may have lied. Do you think he lied?
Could be. Yeah, that's a stupid question. Sure he lied.
Do you think he lied?
You don't have to ask me that. You know my answer. You lied.
Do you?
I don't know.
Whoa. Now wait a second. What are you, the kid's lawyer? Look, there's still 11 of us here that think he's guilty. You're alone. What do you think you're gonna accomplish? Now you can sit here and be stubborn and hang this jury, think he'll be tried again and found guilty, sure as he's born.
Probably right.
So what are you gonna do about it? We could be here all night.
It is only one night. A man may die.
Well, now come.
Well, yes, that's true.
I think we ought to get on with it now.
Right. Let's keep going here. Well, what do you say? You're the one holding up the show.
Obviously, you don't think the boy is guilty.
There's a doubt in my mind.
But you haven't really presented us with any evidence that makes it possible for us to understand your doubt. I mean, there's the old man downstairs. If he heard it, heard the boy shriek it out.
Well, no,
still, you know.
I've got a proposition to make. I want you all to vote by secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there are still 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone. We'll take in a guilty verdict right now.
All right, let's do it.
All right, speed it up here, people.
Guilty. 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 That's 6. Please. Guilty. Guilty. Not guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
How do you like that? Who was it? I think we have a right to know.
We will now have a brief intermission. Feel free to visit our concession stand or send a candygram to the cast.
The dead man or the life of the murderers?
I want to know. Who?
So do I.
Excuse me, this is a secret ballot.
Nobody looked how we did, but now I want to know.
A secret ballot that we all agreed on at that point, no? So if the person wants to remain a secret,
What do you mean? There are no secrets in here. I know who it was. What's the matter with you? You go guilty, then this slick creature comes in telling tales about a poor kid who couldn't help becoming a murderer, so you change your vote? If that isn't the most sickening...
Now hold it!
I agree with you. The man is guilty, but let's be fair.
Well, to be fair, that's just what I'm saying. We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair where he belongs. And all of a sudden we're paying attention to fairy tales?
Now, just a minute.
Now you listen to me.
Let's keep this organized, please,
This is
ladies and
not
gentlemen.
organized, but let's keep it civilized.
I would like to say something. I thought that a man was entitled to have an unpopular opinion. That is one of the reasons why I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
Do you disagree with us?
Usually I would, but in this case, I agree. The point I wish to make is that in my own country, I'm ashamed to say,
Oh, now we have to listen to the whole history of your country?
It's always wise to bear in mind what is happening in other countries when people aren't allowed to disagree. But we are, so let's stick to the subject.
Yeah, let's stick to the subject. Hey, down there, mini skirt, I want to know what made you change your vote?
I want to... You haven't told us yet.
Why do you think I did change my vote? Because I do. Now let's get on with it.
There's nothing for her to tell you. She didn't change her vote. I did.
I was going to tell you, but you're so sure of yourself.
Sorry. Okay, now.
Maybe you would like to know
Let me
why.
tell you why the kid's a piece of...
Now let the lady talk.
Thank you. This lady here chose not to stand alone against us, and that is her right. It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone, even if you believe in something very strongly. She left the verdict up to us. She gambled for support, and I gave it to her. I want to hear more. The vote is 10-2.
All right. Speech is over. Let's move on. Oh, if there was anything in that kid's favor, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't see what it is.
Neither do I. They're clutching at straws.
As guilty as they get, that's the kid.
It's that one juror that's holding out, but she's a reasonable person. She'll come around eventually.
Well, I guess so.
She hasn't even come up with one real fact yet to back up a not guilty verdict.
Well, it's hard, you know.
Yeah, it is. And what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt really mean?
What even is a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. When a life is at stake, what is a reasonable doubt? You've got to have law and order. You've got to draw the line somewhere. Otherwise, everyone would go around knifing each other all the time.
Not much doubt here.
2 jurors think so. I really want to.
Well, I mean, you do hear stories about innocent men who go off to jail or even death sometimes, and then years later things turn up.
And then on the other hand, some murderers get turned loose, and then they go and do it again. They squeeze out on some technicality and kill again.
Hey, I was a little excited, though. Oh, you know how it is. I didn't mean to ask. Nothing personal.
Okay. All right, now suppose you answer me this. If the kid didn't kill him, then who did?
As far as I'm concerned, we're here to discuss whether or not the boy is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives.
I suppose, but who else had a motive?
The father was along in years, maybe an old grudge.
Remember, it is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is an important thing to remember.
Everyone's a lawyer. Supposing you tell us what your reasonable doubts are.
This is not easy for me. So far, it's only a feeling I have. A feeling. Perhaps you don't understand.
I don't.
A feeling? What, are we gonna spend all night talking about your feelings? What about the facts?
You said it on the phone. Look, the old man heard the boy yell, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he heard a body falling. And he ran out the door about 15 seconds after that.
Where's the reasonable doubt in that?
That's right, and let's not forget the woman across the street. She looked into the window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
Now, if that's not enough for you.
It's not enough.
Then what is enough for you? I'd like to know. I mean,
How do you like her? Like talking into a dead phone.
the train had 5 cars, and she saw it through the windows of the last 2. The woman, of course. She remembered the most insignificant details.
Well, what do you have to say about that?
Just doesn't sound right.
Well, suppose they think about it. Let's play tic-tac-toe.
Keep it professional.
This isn't a game.
Hey!
This is a man's life.
Now, wait a minute.
All right, now take it easy.
I've got to get my lure on the table and belt her one.
Now, please, I don't want any fights in here.
Did you see her? The nerve, the absolute nerve.
Right. It don't mean anything. Leave it alone.
How about sitting down?
This isn't a game. Who does she think she is?
Weren't we talking about elevated trains?
We were.
So?
How long would it take an L train going at top speed to pass a given point?
What does that got to do with anything?
Take a guess. How long would it take?
I wouldn't have the slightest clue.
Neither would I.
I don't think they mentioned it.
What do you think?
About 10, 12 seconds, maybe.
That's a fair guess. Anyone else?
I would say about 10 seconds as well.
Yeah, about 10 seconds.
Okay, so we agreed. 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point. That point is the room in which the killing took place. From inside, you can reach out and almost touch the L.
That's right. I get it.
So?
Now, the old man from downstairs heard the boy say,
He didn't say it. He screamed it.
heard the boy scream, "I'm gonna kill you," and then a second later, he heard the body fall. 1 second, that's the testimony, correct? And the woman from across the street said that she heard the boy murder his father and saw the last 2 cars of the elevated train.
Yeah?
The last 2 cars. The last 2 cars.
What are you giving us here?
An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. This would mean that the L would have had to have been passing by the old man's house for 6 seconds and maybe more before the body fell, according to the woman. This means that the L would have had to have been passing by the old man's house as he heard the boy say, "I'm gonna kill you." I mean, with the L roaring past his nose, it's not possible he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure, you could have heard it.
With an L train going by,
He said he yelled it out.
they make a lot of noise.
Well, it's enough for me.
It's enough for me too.
I don't think that he could have heard it.
Maybe he didn't hear it. With the L train noise, I mean.
What are you people talking about? Are you calling the old man a liar?
It just doesn't seem to fit.
Well, it stands to reason.
You're crazy. Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe?
You keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send one into the newspaper?
have to do with a man's life? Go on, why would he lie? You have a right.
It's just that I looked at him for a very long time. The seam of his jacket was split underneath his arm. Did you notice that? He was a very old man and he carried 2 canes. I think that I know him better than anyone here. This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant man who has been nothing all his life, who has never had recognition, his name in the newspapers. Nobody knows him after 75 years. This is a very sad thing. A man like this needs to be recognized, to be questioned and listened to and quoted just once. This is very important.
And you for sure to tell us he lied about a thing like that just so he could be important.
Well, no, he wouldn't really lie, but perhaps he made himself believe he heard those words and recognized the boy's face.
Well, that's the most fantastic story I've ever heard. How could you make a thing like that up?
I'm not making it up.
You must be making it up. People don't lie about things like that.
He made himself believe he told the truth.
What do you know about it?
I speak from experience.
What?
I am the same person.
I think we all understand now. Thank you.
If you want to admit that you're a liar, it's fine by me.
Please. She was explaining.
She's a liar. She just told us so.
That is too much.
Didn't you just say you're a liar?
She was explaining the circumstances so we could understand the difference.
A liar's a liar. That's all there is to it.
Have some compassion.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please, we have a job here. Let's do it.
I think they covered it.
I hope we have.
All right. Is there anything else?
Cough drop?
No, thanks.
Does anybody want a cough drop?
I'll take one. Thank you.
Now, I think we can all agree that the old man couldn't have heard the words, "I'm gonna kill you."
Well, I disagree.
Well, let's hear her through, anyways.
But supposing he had heard it, this phrase, how many times have we used it? If you do that one more time, Junior, I'm gonna murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him. We say it every day. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that we want to kill someone.
Don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
Well, the phrase was, I'm going to kill you, and the kid yelled it out at the top of his lungs.
That's the way I understand it.
Now, don't try and tell me he didn't mean it. Anybody says a thing like that, the way he said it, they mean it.
And how they mean it.
Then why would he screech it out for the entire neighborhood to hear? He's much too bright for that.
Right. He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak English.
The boy's clever enough.
I'm going to vote to not joking.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right. The vote is now 9-3 in favor of guilty.
If I may, I'd like to know why you changed your vote.
I think there is a doubt. Where? What is the doubt?
There's the knight. Oh, fine. She tricked you into believing a fairy tale.
Well, go on, give us the reasons.
The old man, too. Maybe he did lie, but just maybe he didn't.
Well, he got us at the end.
I still believe there's a doubt.
What are you basing it on? Stories that this one made up. She ought to write for Amazing Detective Monthly. She'd make a fortune. Look, the kid had a lawyer, didn't he? Why didn't the lawyer bring up any of these points?
Lawyers can't think of everything.
Oh, brother, you sit here and pull these stories out of thin air. Now we're supposed to believe that the old man didn't get up, run to the door, and see the kid beat it downstairs 15 seconds after the killing.
That's the testimony.
And the old man, he swore to this. He swore to this only so he could be important.
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked, what's the difference? He got there.
I don't remember what he said, but I can't see that he could run.
He said he went. I remember it now. He went from his bedroom to the front door. Isn't that enough?
Where is the bedroom again?
Down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall? Are we just sending the boy off to die because the bedroom is down the hall somewhere?
Well, I thought you remembered everything. Don't you remember that?
I don't.
I don't remember either.
Madam Foreman, I'd like to see a diagram of the apartment.
Why don't we just have them run the whole trial over so you can get everything straight?
I'm sorry, do you know? A man's life is at stake. Do you know? Madam Foreman?
I hear you. So what's this one for? How come you're the only one that ever wants to see in yours?
I want to see this one too.
So do I.
Well, I think we're wasting time.
Are we gonna start waiting for all that nonsense about where the body was found?
No. We're gonna figure out how a man who's had 2 strokes in the last 3 years and who walks with a pair of canes could have gotten to his door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
No, he said 15.
Well, how could he know how long it is? You can't judge a thing like that.
He said 50. He's very positive about it.
He's an old man. You saw that. Half the time he was confused. How could he be sure about anything? Well, you know.
No, I don't know. Maybe you know.
Is this what you wanted?
Yes, please.
Do me a favor. Wake me up when this is over. I looked at that diagram for 2 hours. Enough is enough.
Well, some of us are interested. Go ahead.
All right. This is a diagram of the apartment. The old man's is identical and right below it. These are the L tracks. Bedroom, another bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, living room, down the hall, and these are the steps. Now, the old man says that he got up, went to his bedroom door, went down the hall, and opened his front door just in time to see the boy racing down the steps. Am I right so far?
That's the story.
That's what happened.
All in 15 seconds? I mean, the bedroom is 12 feet, and the hall is 43 feet 6 inches. This means that the old man would have had to get up, walk 12 feet to his bedroom door, walk 43 feet down the hall, all in 15 seconds. I mean, do you think this is possible?
You know it's possible.
I don't see why not.
It would have been in a hurry. He did hear a scream.
He can only walk so slow. They have to help him into the witness chair.
You make it sound like a long walk. It's not.
For a man who uses canes, it's a long walk.
What are you doing?
I'm going to try something. I'm going to pace off 12 feet, the length of the bedroom.
You're crazy. You can't recreate a thing like that.
Just let her do it.
I can't see any harm in it. It's foolish, but go ahead.
Okay, so this will be the bedroom door. Now, how far would you say it is from here to that wall?
I'd say it was, what, 20 feet?
Yeah, about 20 feet.
All right, 20 feet is close enough. So from here and back is 40 feet. That's less than the length of the hall the old man would have had to walk.
A few feet, maybe.
Look, this is absolutely insane. What makes you think you can do this?
Can't stop her.
Do you mind if I try it? According to you, it'll only take 15 seconds. Now, does anyone have a watch with a second hand?
I do.
All right, stop your foot when you want me to start. That'll be the body falling.
Well, time me from there.
And let's say the old man keeps his canes right by his bedside.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the second hand to get to 60.
Nuh-uh. Speed it up. You walk twice as fast as that.
This is, I think, even faster than walking to the courtroom.
No, it isn't.
If you want me to go faster, I will.
Speed it up a little.
Stop.
All right, 20, 30, 39 seconds.
That can't be.
39 seconds.
Now that's interesting.
Hey now, you know,
What do you think of that?
39 seconds.
39 seconds. The old man swore on oath that it was 15.
She may have been a little bit off than the old couple walked, but we can all see.
Far from me calling anyone here a liar, and even allowing quite a difference between the speed of the old man and you, it's still quite a
Discrepancy.
It's my assumption that the old man was trying to get to his front door and heard someone go downstairs, so he just assumed it was the boy.
I think that's possible.
Assumes? Now listen to me, you people. I've seen all kinds of dishonesty in my day, but this little display takes the cake.
What dishonesty?
Tell me, you come in here with your heart bleeding on the floor, stories about slow kids and injustices, all these soft-hearted old ladies listening to you? Well, I'm not. I'm getting real sick of you. What's the matter with all of you? This kid is guilty. He's got to burn. He's slipping through her fingers.
Our fingers? Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you bet I'd like to.
I feel sorry for you.
Don't start with me.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up.
You want this boy to die because you personally want it, not because of the facts.
Shut up.
You're a beast. You disgust me.
Shut up. Let me go. I'll kill him. I'll kill him.
Surely you don't mean you'll kill me, do you?
We will now have a brief intermission. Feel free to visit our concession stand or share a candygram to our counter.
Is everyone okay?
Everything's fine.
All right.
Well, what are you looking at?
I don't see why we're not complaining with the children.
Nor do I. This is the remarkable thing about democracy. Nothing to gain or lose by this verdict. This is one of the reasons why we are strong. Please don't make it a personal thing.
Thank you. Very much.
Why do you think?
We forget. It's good to be reminded.
I'm glad we're going to be civilized about this.
Well, we're still nowhere.
No, we're getting somewhere. Maybe.
Maybe.
Who's got an idea?
I think we should have another vote. Madam Foreman? Okay.
It's all right. Everything's all right with me.
I think we should have another vote, so.
It's all right with me. Anybody who doesn't want to vote?
Let's vote.
Yes, vote.
So, all right, let's do it. I want to know good now. Let's call our votes. I want to see who stands where.
Okay. That sounds fair enough. Anyone object? Okay. All right. I'll call up your jury number. I vote guilty. 2,
Not guilty.
3,
Guilty.
4,
Guilty.
5,
Not guilty.
6,
Not guilty.
7,
Guilty.
8,
Not guilty.
9,
Not guilty.
10,
Guilty.
Sure.
Yes.
11,
Not guilty.
and 12.
Guilty.
It's 6 to 6.
Let me tell you something. The crime is being committed right in this room.
The vote is 6 to 6.
I'm ready to walk in a court right now and declare on jury. There's no point on what's going on anymore.
If I may, I'd like to know why you changed your vote. Actually, why you changed your vote. And why you changed your vote. There are 6 people here who think we may be turning a murderer loose into the streets. Emotions won't do. Why?
Well, it would seem that the old man did not see the boy go downstairs, and I also do not find it likely that the old man heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you." Old men dream. And, let me be clear, if the boy did scream that he was going to kill, we do have the authority of this juror to prove that it might not actually mean he's going to kill.
Why don't we just take it into the judge and let the kid take his chances with 12 other guys?
It's 6 to 6. I don't think we'll ever agree on anything.
It's got to be unanimous. And we're never going to convince her.
At first I was alone, now 5 others agree. There is a doubt.
We can
never convince me there's a doubt, because I know there isn't no doubt.
I tell you what, maybe we are a hung jury. It happens sometimes.
We will not be a hung jury.
But right now, we are a perfect balance. Let's take it to the judge.
If there is a reasonable doubt, I don't see it.
The doubt is there, in my mind.
Maybe we should vote again?
What do you mean, vote?
Not again.
I still want to know. Vote on what?
Are we or aren't we a hung jury?
You mean that we vote yes, we are a hung jury, or no, we're not a hung jury?
That's just what I was thinking of.
We can't even agree if the window should be open or not.
True.
But
Let's make it a majority vote. Majority wins.
So, if 7 or more of us vote that, yeah, we're a hung jury, we take it to the judge and we tell them we're a hung jury.
Right, and Sarah votes no. That means we stay here and we discuss it more.
It doesn't seem quite right to me.
It's the only solution. I agree, it's the only way.
Anything to end it.
Are we agreed then? 7 or more votes, yes, and we'll take it to the judge.
let's call out our votes.
Okay. I vote yes that we are a hung jury. 2,
No.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
Yes.
8,
No.
9,
No.
10,
Yes.
11,
No.
and 12.
Yes.
Oh no.
It's 6 to 6.
We cannot even get a majority to decide whether or not we're a hung jury.
You know what? No. I went along with the majority vote on this question. I don't agree with how we voted, and I honestly still don't. So I'm changing my vote. No, we are not a hung jury. I still think that boy is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. There's some things I want to find out from those jurors that changed their minds.
Then we aren't a hung jury, so we go on.
Good, we go on.
Good. Why did you change your vote?
Well, it's just that she seems to be so sure, and she's made plenty of really good points, and she only really gets angry and yells at everyone.
But does the anger and the insult change the guilt of the kid? He did do it. I mean, are you going to turn a murderer loose just because this juror gets upset when they think a murderer is being turned loose?
That's true.
And let's...
There is still a doubt.
I don't think so. The trap is straight in front of the window. Let's take that point. So the L train would have made a low rumbling noise. L trains screech when they go around the curves. So the old man could have heard a scream because it's high-pitched. And they live in a tenement and they have thin walls.
Good. That's it. That's it.
And what if the old man was wrong about the time it took for him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw? Please remember, there were no fingerprints on the weapon, and it is summer, so gloves seem unlikely.
Now I want you to listen to this guy. They've got the goods.
And it might have taken a few seconds to get out the handkerchief and wipe all the fingerprints away.
This is a point.
Why don't we time this one? Just to see.
Because what exactly are we timing?
Yes, let's be exact, please.
I'm saying that the old man downstairs might have been wrong about the time it took for him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw running down the stairs. Now it may have taken the murderer 39 seconds to run down the stairs and get to the place where the old man saw him. The boy, that is.
This is right.
We reconstructed the old man getting out of bed and going to the door. And we timed that. And so let's now time the actual crime.
As well as we can reconstruct the crime.
I think a murderer could use up 30 to 40 seconds pretty easily at that point.
Let's reconstruct the killing.
Yeah, let's.
Here, you do the stabbing.
No, I'll do it.
Why don't you be the one that gets stabbed? You're younger than I am, and don't forget, you only take 1 second to fall.
And he was found on his side, his right side, so fall and roll on your right side. Now, if somebody hates someone enough to kill them, don't you think it's reasonable to assume they would look at the body for a few seconds after they stab them just to make sure it's really dead?
Yeah.
Sure. I suppose it seems reasonable.
Hey, wait a minute. He falls and he lands on his right side. The father did. But stabbing someone isn't like shooting someone, even when it's in the heart. He would have rolled around a bit, lying there on the floor, writhing maybe.
That's quite possible. I think he would have had enough oxygen in his system to carry him for 2 to 3 seconds more.
But wouldn't the father have cried out?
Maybe the kid covered his mouth.
That also seems possible.
Another point we should bring out, if somebody is clear enough mentally to wipe away the fingerprints from the weapon, wouldn't they also be clear enough to check around the room, just for a few seconds, but to see if any clues at all were left behind?
This gets better and better.
One never talks about quality when murder is involved. Well, let's do it.
About this on the fingerprints. The kid wiped the fingerprints off the knife. Well, what about the doorknob? If I saw a man coming to my home and the man hit me, he would have wiped off the doorknob with a handkerchief as he came in. It would kind of give me like an uneasy feeling. So the doorknobs must have been wiped after the killing, and this too could take some time.
Fair point. Oh, you've done the last one. Why don't you plan this one too?
All right.
Stamp your foot when you want me to start.
I'm waiting for a second.
Yeah,
to
you
make
know.
a 60.
I'm going to kill you. And he would have wiped both knobs. Stop.
20, 29, 29 and a half seconds exactly.
And whoever did murder the old man, and I think it was the boy, still had to run down the hall at least one flight of stairs.
You see? You see?
Now, the old man might have been wrong about the time, but in view of this, I think it's quite reasonable to assume that he did see the boy.
So now both time sequences check, the one we did and the one you did. What with running downstairs and everything, it does all seem to check out on time.
Okay, sure, he's an old man who wants attention. She's probably right, but the old man feels the way we all do. A life is at stake.
So the story of the old man may well be true.
Except for the fact that he swore under oath that it was only 15 seconds.
We all seem to agree that it was 25 to 40 seconds later.
You now admit that the old man lied in one case and told the truth in another. While I admit this does tend to confirm the story of the old man, we've now just discovered that he's a proven liar, and this is by your own admission.
I mean, that might be true, but I think that this is going to change my vote one more time. Guilty.
What about you? What do you think?
I'm not just sure what I think. I want to talk more. I mean, at first I thought guilty, and then I changed, and to be honest with y'all, I'm kind of switching back to guilty.
And what about you?
I'm in real doubt now.
I see guilty. I was right the first time. Now we're beginning to make sense in here.
Alright. It looks like it seems about 9 guilty to about 3 not guilty.
One more question about the old man. How many of you live in apartments? I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking.
What's that?
I don't live in a tenement, but it's close. There is just enough light, but not enough to see the steps. Remember how we stumbled on the steps? The police were using big bulbs, and one of them even had a flashlight, remember? Now, this old man, who misjudged the time by 20 seconds, on this we all agree, looked down the dark hallway and recognized a running figure. Except he was absolutely wrong about the time. It took him twice as long as that. Now, could the old man not be 100% wrong about who he saw?
That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard of. You're making that up out of thin air.
We're a hung jury. Let's just be honest about it.
Do you truly believe there's not a reasonable doubt?
Who, me? Yeah, I do.
I beg your pardon, but maybe you don't understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand it? Who are you to talk to me like that? Look at this one. She comes over here, running for her life, and before she can even catch her breath, she's trying to tell us how to run the show. The arrogance of her.
No one here is asking where anyone came from.
I was born right here.
Or where your father came from.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt to take a few tips from the people who came running here. Maybe we could learn a thing or two. We're not so perfect. Please. It's all right. I'm used to this. Thank you. It's not all right.
Okay, I apologize. Is that what you want to hear?
what I want.
All right, let's stop all this arguing. Who's got something constructive to say?
Well, this business about the stab wound, the downward angle of it, I don't really go along with it.
Don't tell me we're going to start that again. They went over it and over it in court.
I know they did, but it's just that the boy is 5'8" and his father's 6'2". That's a difference of 6 inches. It's just such an awkward thing to stab down into the chest of someone who's half a foot taller than you.
All right, you're not going to be satisfied until you see it again. I'll give you a demonstration. Somebody get up. All right, now pay attention. I don't want to have to do this again. Is that 6?
That's more than 6 inches.
Then let it be more.
Look out! That's not funny.
What's the matter with you?
Calm down. Nobody's hurt, are there?
No, nobody's hurt.
Now, if I was going to stab a taller man, that's how you do it. Down and in. Anyone disagree?
Down and in. I guess there's no argument.
Have you ever stabbed a man?
Of course not.
Have you?
All right, let's not be silly.
Have you?
No, I haven't.
So where do you get all your information about how it's done?
What do you mean? It's just common sense.
Have you ever seen someone get stabbed?
No.
This is a boy who's been to the reform school for knife fighting. Isn't that so?
That's right.
Doesn't this seem like an awkward way to handle a knife?
What are you asking me for?
Wait a minute, give me that knife.
Have you ever seen someone get stabbed?
Yes, I have.
In the movies?
No, on my street in my backyard, and then they fell across the street. There's many of them actually. Especially from the people I live with. It's funny that I didn't think about it before, but I never ever did this switch line, but never used it overhand. Give something in your use, you know, switch line that way. Use it underneath.
So then it's not possible that the boy could have made the wound that killed his father.
It's conceivable he could have, but you know he has no experience with switch knives.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, you're gonna slow him mumbo jumbo.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
What about you?
I'll tell y'all something. I'm getting a little sick of this whole thing. We're getting nowhere fast. Let's just break it up and go on.
Before we decide anything more, I'd like to piece everything together.
This should be good.
She has a right.
You want me to time this too?
Let's hear her.
I'm advertising. I'm used to the big shots pulling things together.
All right. I want to know, is the boy smart or is he dumb?
What do you mean?
This is a boy who's been to the reform school for knife fighting. That night he bought a switch knife. It would then take a very stupid kid to use that same knife to murder his father.
I quite agree. He's dumb.
However, if he were dumb, then why would he make the type of wound an inexperienced man would make?
I'm not sure I understand.
To murder someone takes great emotion, and in that emotion he would handle it as best he could, underhand. But the boy's being smart, so he handles it the way an inexperienced man would, overhand. This man is a smart man. Smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away, perhaps. Smart enough to wait until an L train is going by to block out the noise. So I ask again, is he smart or is he dumb?
Now wait a minute.
Well, the woman across the L track saw the murder through the L train, so someone in the L train could have seen the murder too.
A possibility we didn't think of.
Although it would take an awfully dumb man to take that chance. I mean, doing the murders the train went by?
Exactly, a dumb man, a very stupid man. A man swept by emotion. Probably he heard nothing. He probably didn't even hear the train coming. And whoever did murder the father did it as well as he could.
So?
The boy is dumb enough to do everything to associate himself with the knife, a switch knife murder. But then, in the same instant, he's smart enough to make the type of wound that would lead us to suspect someone else. And then he's dumb enough to do it while an L train's going by. And then he's smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away. To make this boy guilty, you'd have to say he's dumb from 8 o'clock to about midnight, and then at midnight he's smart for a couple seconds, and then dumb, and then smart, and then once again he becomes stupid. So stupid that he doesn't even think of a good alibi. To make this boy guilty, you'd have to toss his intelligence around like a pancake. There is doubt, doubt, doubt.
I hadn't thought of that.
And the old man downstairs. On the stand, he swore that it was 15 seconds. He insisted on 15 seconds, but we can all agree that it was almost 40 seconds.
Does the old man lie half of the time and then tell the truth the other half of the time?
To make this boy guilty, you'd have to say he's dumb and smart, then dumb and smart, and so on. And also, for the boy to be guilty, the old man would have to lie half the time, and the other half of the time he must tell the truth. I mean, you can reasonably doubt.
I'm sold on reasonable doubt.
I think I am too.
I wanted more talk, and now I have it.
I want another vote.
Okay, another vote is called for. I guess the quickest way we can do this is show of hands. Does anyone object? Okay, thank you. All right. All those that are not guilty, raise your hand. 9. Okay, guilty? 3. Okay, the vote is now 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. How can you believe this kid is innocent? Look, you know how these people lie. I don't have to tell you. They don't know what the truth is. And let me tell you, they don't need a real big reason to kill someone either. You know, they get drunk and bang someone lying in the gutter. They don't care. That's how they are, you know, violent. Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us. Hey, where are you going? Look, these people, they're drinking and fighting all the time, and if somebody gets killed, so somebody gets killed. They don't care. Nobody's blaming them. And sure, there are some good things about them too. Look, I'm the first to say that. I've met a few who are pretty decent, but that's the exception. Most of them, it's like they have no feelings. Where are you all going? I'm speaking my piece, and you listen. Liz, you can't take it from me. This kid on trial is like, well, don't you know about them? What's going on here? I'm trying to tell you all something.
I've had enough. If you open your mouth again, I'm gonna split your skull. I still think the boy's guilty of murder, and I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning evidence was given by the testimony from the woman across the street who claimed she saw the actual murder take place.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
I believe I can recount it exactly, almost. She said she went to bed at 11 o'clock, and her bed is right next to an open window, which has a direct view into the window across the street. Now, she tossed and turned for over an hour. Then at around 12:10, she looked through the window and saw the boy stab his father. To me, this is unshakable testimony.
That's what I mean. That's the whole case.
Frankly, in view of this, I don't see how any of you can vote for acquittal. I mean, what do you think?
Well, maybe. There's so much evidence to sift.
What do you mean, maybe? They're absolutely right. You can throw all the other evidence away.
Well, not exactly. That was my feeling. I mean, I don't deny the validity of any of the points that she has made. I mean, shall we say on one side of the tracks there is doubt? But what can we say about the story of the woman? She saw it.
What time is it?
10 minutes after 6.
You don't suppose they let us go home early and finish it in the morning, possibly? I've got a kid with mumps.
Not a chance. Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly.
Oh.
Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
What do you do at night when you want to look at the clock?
I would put on my glasses and go look at the clock.
I just lie in bed and wait for my clock to chime. It was a gift that my father gave me when my wife and I got married. 10 years before I had a place to put it.
So you don't wear your glasses to bed?
Of course not. Who would wear their glasses to bed?
The woman wore glasses. What about her?
Did she wear glasses?
That's right. She wore bifocals. I remember now. And they look pretty strong.
Yes, bifocals. She never took them off.
Funny. Never thought of that.
I think it's logical to say that she doesn't wear her glasses to bed, and she wouldn't put them on just to glance out the window. Now, in her testimony, she claimed that she looked out the window, and then a second later, she saw the boy kill his father, and then the lights went out. That was the testimony. Now, she wouldn't have had time to wear her glasses within that time, so perhaps she does claim that she saw the boy murder his father, but I say she just saw a blur.
How do you know that? Maybe she's farsighted. How does she know all these things?
Is there anyone here who still doesn't think there's a reasonable doubt?
I always wonder, but there is a doubt.
I think he's guilty.
Anyone else?
No. I'm convinced now. There's a reasonable doubt in my mind.
You're alone.
11 votes not guilty. 1 guilty.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. I have a right.
You do have a right.
I think he's guilty.
What about your arguments?
I gave you my arguments.
We're not convinced. We want to hear them again. We have time.
Listen, what's the matter with you? You're the guy with all the arguments. You can't back out on me now. You gotta stay with me. This kid's guilty.
I'm sorry, but I've been convinced. I don't think I'm wrong often, but I guess I was this once. I mean, there's a clear, reasonable doubt in my mind.
We're waiting.
You're not going to intimidate me. I have a right. It's gonna be a hung jury. That's it.
We can only hope that one day in a couple months, you might get some sleep.
You're all alone.
It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone.
And if it is a hung jury, then they're just gonna have another trial, and we're gonna bring these points up to the various lawyers.
All right.
All right.
Anybody want gum?
Thank you. It takes a lot for me to be convinced, but I appreciate that you stood your ground.
Jurors. Thank you for supporting our fantastic students. Please remember to remove your trash and have an amazing day. Thank you.
Is this working? Okay. I just wanted to do something a little special for where Miss Trigg is at, our tech director. She is with her child. But thank you so much, everyone.
I just wanted to give a special thank you to our directors for everything that they do. And it's been a long time. I don't know, this was not working. It's been a long time since we were all able to do this together. We wouldn't be able to do it without them. So. Thank you, everyone.
I'm very nervous. Oh,